AI Weekly Breakthroughs. Welcome to another episode. It's a show where we discuss all the key happenings from the AI world to see what really matters. And today I want to start with Amazon. Microsoft's building it, Elon Musk is building it, Amazon is now also building it. AI supercomputers, AI data centers. So Amazon, they're allocating more than 100 billion US dollars to construct a data center designed for AI computing. So this is just one of the investments from Amazon towards AI. So they are really defining their future to be driven by advanced technology. They're also designing their own AI chips. A few months ago, they invested 4 billion US dollars in Anthropic, AI model company, which just last week released the world's highest performing large language model. So Amazon, they will be one of the giants alongside Google and Microsoft in the future years. They are here, humanoid robots, that is. So we've done quite a few. We featured quite a few robotics items in the last few weeks. This one's very interesting. We have our industry's first formal commercial deployment of a humanoid robot. A deal has been made between Agility Robotics and GXO to deploy Agility Robotics' Digit robot in GXO's logistics operations. So GXO, it is world's largest pure play contract logistics provider. And this is very interesting. So we see that now these robots are becoming capable enough to perform real world tasks in real world environments. This is also industry's first robots as a service deployment of humanoid robots. And to stay on topic of humanoid robots, I want to share this breakthrough from MIT's computer science and AI lab, and it's RoboGrocery. And what this robot or this robotic solution is capable of doing is packing groceries. And you might say, this is not that impressive of a task, but if you look at all the specifics of what happens when you are performing the task, it becomes a lot more complicated. And I'll just play the video so that you can see what exactly is going on. But what this solution does is it combines computer vision, pressure sensors, and a robotic gripper to bag different items. And what the solution does is first it uses computer vision to detect objects on the conveyor belt, to detect their orientation. It uses pressure sensors and AI to determine if it is a delicate item or something more rigid, as let's say this canned soup. Why is this important? Because this determines the order of bagging that needs to happen. So if you're ordering these items in a bag, you do not want to place something very delicate into the bag first. So this is very interesting. This is robotics capabilities being combined with AI to have these robots perform real world tasks and actually do something useful for us. So it's not just in research. And I think what we can expect in the future months and years is a lot more announcements similar to this one from GXO. Continuing with Claude and Anthropic. So previous week, they released Sonnet 3.5. As mentioned, it is currently the highest performing large language model on the market. They now extend this with a feature called Projects. What it is a feature which allows teams to collaborate in a single chat environment. And what you can also do is provide this solution or the bot with enterprise knowledge articles. So this is what you can see in the demo on the screen. You can provide it with, let's say, internal documentation, and then you can have the bot use this documentation, use this knowledge to generate insights and to generate different answers. So this is very similar to retrieval augmented generation, where we are grounding these solutions in enterprise knowledge sources. So the task that you can see on the screen is a org chart being created by the bot just using the internal documentation that was provided. And this comes with a context window size of 200,000 tokens. And again, staying on the topic of context window sizes, 200,000 is a lot, but Google is extending this by quite a bit. So Gemini 1.5 Pro has a context window size of 2 million tokens. So this is something that was already announced when this model was first released, but this feature was only available to select few users. Now it's available to all Gemini 1.5 Pro users. And what does 2 million token size mean? This means that the context window size can handle approximately 1.5 million words. And that is more than the whole Harry Potter book series. So you can now provide all that information and then use it, or the bot, the LLM can use it to provide answers or generate new text. And one problem with this was increasing costs. So all of those input tokens now need to be processed, which you have to pay for. But Google is also addressing this issue, and they're now introducing context caching, where the tokens, if you want to reuse that large portion of text, those tokens will no longer be recalculated for every new request that is coming in. Now, this feature is in the hands of the users and feedback is mixed. There is still the issue of large language models not really being able to use all of the information in the context window. So a lot of that can be considered noise for a particular question that is getting asked. And this is something that researchers are still working on improving, that recall will be better and that all of that information that is within the context window will be more usable or available to the bot. But this is a limitation that will no longer exist in the future. So context window sizes will be pretty much unlimited for most tasks. Next item that I want to feature is an article from Evidently AI. One of the questions that gets asked a lot of the times is, what are some of the use cases? So real world applications of generative AI or just machine learning, right? We see a lot of these breakthroughs, research breakthroughs, but what are some of the real world tasks that are getting solved by these solutions? And this is a very valuable research that covers this. So it is a database of 450 case studies from 100 plus companies. So this is looking at machine learning, AI, and the Gen AI solutions within the real world. And there is over 60 examples of generative AI solutions deployed in production, solving something very useful for this company. So again, a very valuable resource for all the practitioners so that we can better understand what is being solved by this technology today. And last two items I want to feature, two research breakthroughs. First one is titled Scaling Synthetic Data Creation with 1 Billion Personas. So synthetic data creation is very relevant in the context of generative AI. We have already seen large language models, high-performing large language models trained almost exclusively on synthetic data. Large language models are very good at creating new, diverse data sets. But what the authors of this study propose is a novel persona-driven data synthesis methodology. So what they're introducing is a persona hub. It is a collection of 1 billion diverse personas curated from web data. 1 billion meaning about 13% of the world's population. And what you can do is you can now use these personas to generate very diverse training data sets for new models that can then be adapted for very specific tasks. So these personas act as distributed carriers of world knowledge. And to make all of this more concrete, here's an example of 3 personas. So let's say you have a moving company driver, you have a chemical kinetics researcher, you have a musician interested in audio processing. So these very specific persona descriptions. And combining these persona descriptions in large language models, you can then generate, let's say, a data set of math tasks. And on the left, you have a high school math teacher who is teaching students the concepts of linear functions. And then on the right, let's say you have a mathematics professor who specializes in the study of group theory. And now those two personas would generate different math questions or math tasks. And another example will, let's say, be customer questions. Let's say you want to simulate questions coming into the system from customers. You can now use those persona definitions to generate new questions coming into the system. Because those personas are very diverse, different personas care about different things, the questions are also going to be very different. So this is something that can help us create more diverse and comprehensive data sets using various different personas that are in their persona hub. And last item for today, it is a research conducted at the University of Reading. It is titled A Real-World Test of Artificial Intelligence Infiltration of a University Examinations System, a Turing Test Case Study. Simplified, AI versus students. So generative AI transforming a lot of industries, educational sector definitely being one. Some of the tasks or some of the assessments are especially vulnerable in the sense that students can use AI to complete tests instead of them. So what the researchers here tested is, or they conducted a rigorous blind study in which they injected 100% AI-written submissions into the examination system. So the markers or people grading those exams were unaware of the study, and this was performed across 5 undergraduate modules across all years of study for a BSc degree in psychology. So what are the findings here? The first one, AI outperforms real students. And this was true for 4 out of the 5 modules. So just the last year module, which requires more abstract reasoning, there humans outperformed AI, but in all other years, AI outperformed humans. And also on the very right, you can see the overall numbers. Now, this is very impressive for AI, and what is slightly concerning for the educational sector, only about 5% of 100% AI written submissions were flagged that something is wrong, right? By the markers or people grading these exams. So it is very hard to detect AI generated text. And the key takeaways presented by the authors of the study: 94 of AI submissions were undetected. So again, very hard to detect this. Number two, grades awarded to AI were on average half a grade higher than those achieved by real students. And then lastly, there was an 83.4% chance that AI submissions would outperform a random selection of the same number of real student submissions. So this is something that should incentivize people putting together programs or people putting together different forms of assessment of human skill, because this is AI use in education is a potential problem for how it's currently set up. Very interesting study. And this is the last item for today. Thank you for being with us. And until next week.